Does that matter? I mean,
No, you can go ahead and comment on whatever you like. That's
Okay.
fine. That way we just want, you ready?
Yeah.
Okay. So thank you for helping us out. And do you have any children?
yes.
What age do you think is appropriate to talk to your children regarding sex?
I think you need to start when they're very young, like even as when they start asking questions, 5,
Oh, that's awesome.
When they
That's
start
what I do.
school.
Start school?
Yeah.
kindergarten, or when they start asking.
Yeah, that's one of the main reasons.
So do you think it'd be better for your children to learn about sex from you, school, TV, society?
From the parents, definitely.
From the parents, definitely?
Yes.
Why do you think that's the best?
Well, then my values and goes on to them, and that also, if you start that at a young age, start talking to them then, they'll talk to you about
Anything.
lots of things.
Right,
Okay.
they'll be more open with you. So regarding sexuality, what would you say influences your child at home the most? Like when you had your children, that they were younger, because you commented that they're all older now and stuff. So what do you think influenced them the most?
I think what we do influence them the most, the parents.
But I also, but I think culture, society in general, has a big influence as they become teenagers, especially, and they get into middle school and high school.
Would you say that's a challenge to your beliefs? Like if they learn things from somewhere else and you have to like try to get them to believe what you want them to learn and what other people
It's
teach them?
somewhat of a challenge,
Yeah.
yes.
Okay.
That's a good one. Thank you. Well, thank you very much. We're gonna move
thank
on to
you.
the next one. You're not going to turn it off, or you're just going to go to the
Okay,
next one?
okay, yeah.
So we can put it all together.
Okay.
Okay.
Hopefully we'll-
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Okay, so here we go.
All right.
And so do you have children?
We have 3.
3. Okay. What age do you think is appropriate for your children to talk to your children? I'm getting confused. For you to talk to your children regarding sex.
When our children were little, you could wait a little longer. Now, with our grandchildren and great-grandchildren, you have to start about, I think, maybe 6 years old.
So you're saying that the generations now, it's like the topic about sex is more open now? Like they're
Does make
learning
sense.
Or more needed?
Definitely.
You think more needed
More
because
needed
of the...
because of the exposure of television,
Exposure, exactly.
movies, and all this.
Okay.
So
When
did you
our
talk to your children about sex?
When our kids were growing up, they teased me about taking them out behind the wood pile.
Give them
That's
their
that's
sex
what I
education.
did.
Oh,
But they were like, say, 10 to 12 years old.
Okay, were you
They
comfortable?
were at that. Pardon me.
Were you comfortable? I'm sorry.
were you comfortable with
talking to them?
He did the boys that way.
We did. Yeah, I did the boys that way. Was I comfortable? In a way, yes, but in a way, no. It's a different type conversation than you normally have with your children. But we have 3 children. We have 8 grandchildren and 4 great-grandsons.
Oh, wow.
So they've all know what it's all about.
So do you have women? Like, do you have girl children?
We have 2 girls and 1 son.
And you felt more comfortable talking to the girls more than the boys, and you feel more comfortable talking to the boys than the girls,
Yes.
right?
That's how we did it.
Okay. What other question?
Okay, so do you think it would be best for your children to learn sex from you, which obviously you already told us probably that it's from you, school, TV, society, and why? Please.
Well, I think starts at home first, and to kind of give a good
Background.
on that, and then of course they have some in school, which sometimes not the way we thought it should be.
And like I asked them, would you say it's like a challenge, like to from your children to learn like about sex from school and TV and like from people, their friends? Would you say it's challenging to your beliefs, like what you believe, like what you want to teach them?
It is a challenge.
Yes, it really is.
Yeah.
So you have to constantly remind them
What's right,
their
what's
value.
wrong?
Yeah.
Well, I'm
Okay.
curious, since you said you constantly remind them, how do you remind them? Like, what kind of things do you do for your children for them to know that this is what's right for us, our values, our home?
Talk.
Just talk. Wow. See, I grew up nothing like that, so that's very interesting to me because we were very more of a close-knit, don't talk about, sexuality and stuff like that in our home with our values.
That's how I was when I was growing up.
And then it changes, like you said, with time, generationally. My mom got older, and she's like, now she tells me, can you talk to your children about this and that, and about their private areas and how people shouldn't be, touching them there or things like that, which before it's something that at my age I would have never known to be like, hey, don't touch me there. You already know, in you that it's wrong, but you don't know what to say, hey, or something like that. Well, thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
And here we go. Okay, so do you have children?
Yes, we do.
Okay, what age do you think is appropriate for you to talk to your children regarding sex?
Okay, the questions that you have in the context that you're presenting them are turned around. I just want to comment on that.
Okay.
Because you don't have to talk to people about sex. Animals have sex. People have sex. You don't have to talk to them about anything because they just go do it. So if you want to talk about sex in the context of I just want what I want to fulfill my body and do what comes natural through me, through nature, you don't have to tell me anything. I'll figure it out.
Right.
I may do some things that are more pleasurable than others, but I'm fulfilling myself. So when you talk about sex, to talk about sex in the context under which it is established, you have to talk about in the confines of a relationship. So what you do in a family is talk about relationships. You don't start talking about sex when they're 2 and 3 and 4. You're teaching them about relationships.
Through your own actions, maybe? Or?
Through own actions, through our conversations, through corrections of the kids, through input from others, and you don't let them around people who have the input that do things that are unnatural to a relationship. So then, when you have established that at 2, 3, 4, and 5, when they're 8, 10, 12, and now they're developing sexually in their hormones, now the conversation naturally progresses to what does this mean that you feel that way? But it's always in the context of a relationship, because who do you have to teach about sex? As you take your own character and say, what do I have to be taught about sex? I can go have sex without even someone telling me anything because you just follow your natural tendency. But does that form a relationship? No. So you ask about sex in terms of, is that sex meant to have a personal fulfillment, or is it a fulfillment within a relationship? And each person has to answer that, and each person has to be accountable for that. I would look at you girls and I could make some comments about how beautiful you are, how attractive you are, how sexually attractive you could be to others. And if you want to enter into a relationship like that, let me ask you how you can then end up where you respect your husband and the husband loves his wife. And that's the premise for a solid relationship, which begins at marriage and ends at death. So it's respect for the husband, acting the way he should act, not just saying, hey babe, and making it something you have to count numbers while it's going on. It's a pleasurable thing. And the wife loves the husband because of the way he elevates her. So either sex is elevating people or it's just using people. So we very, very much have understood on our relationship, it is sex is part of the relationship in valuing the individual, and we have taught our kids that. When you start with the relationship, it's not difficult to talk about anything that goes on between two people. But if you want to start with sex, how do you take sex and go to relationships?
Right, that's where it's uncomfortable because you just make it about the actual
the physical act.
The physical act.
Not what goes on emotionally between the two people.
Right. I don't mean to go off on anything there, but I would like.
No, that's excellent. I think you might be a psychology teacher.
No.
Naturally.
You just proved our point, I guess.
I don't know what your point is, but don't ever start either personally or in a discussion with sex and what you can do, because I don't care what it is between she and I. There are no bounds between she. If it's pleasurable to both of us, we don't set the bounds. But you have to know what the other one wants. But if it's just about me, then I may abuse her body or abuse her mentally and physically. And you don't want that. You want to build and build and build. So the relationship goes and sex is a part of it, just as much as many other things that you include. I'm going
So
ahead.
would you say that your children basically